Ms. McMahon and I have known each other for a while. I know a lot about her background. Had some opportunity to spend some time with her in our office talking through some of these issues. And in the interest of time, I'll just focus my question on one issue that's of particular importance to the state of Florida. As we had discussed, the Zika virus had an impact on small business, and I know there's been a number of questions asked about disaster relief for communities impacted by storms and other events. But what I think has become a new disaster, something we had never quite seen before, is the impact of a pandemic or the designation of a community as being a place that people should avoid. This happened during the Zika outbreak this summer in South Florida, where the CDC was basically telling people, do not visit if you're pregnant or certain geographic areas in a community. I don't need to tell you that was not good for business. And while a lot of people think it impacts the big hotels and the big restaurants and the nightclubs, it does, but it impacts all sorts of small businesses down the chain, from, quite frankly, the Uber drivers all the way to the florists at the wedding that got canceled. And so one of the things that we discussed was an effort I made last year that the previous administration was open to opening up or to redefining the use of the disaster loan program to address hardships that small businesses face during public health crisis. So I would just ask, is that something that you would be open to exploring and looking at? I know you need to look at what the cost of that would be, and obviously there needs to be some predictability, although in disaster relief it's hard to predict, right? But I hope that that's something that I can encourage you to be open-minded about, because while I don't think we're going to have many of these, there is nothing to say it couldn't happen again, and our ability to help some of these small businesses who are impacted by the outbreak of a pandemic or what have you, like Zika in the future, is a new dynamic, particularly in communities that are involved in a lot of international travel. So I don't know if you've had a chance to explore that issue a little further, but I hope that you'll be open-minded and work with us on achieving it, because I do think that moving forward that we could unfortunately see that play out in a number of different places in the future.
I have not had a chance to look at it more than our discussion, but certainly I will have an open mind and look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you. And the last point I'd make is I would encourage you at the appropriate time, I'd love to have you come to Florida and visit some of our, I know everybody wants you to get everywhere, right? But before it's a big
Be there in the
state-
winter?
Yes, we would try to schedule it sometime between November and March. But there's some real dynamism in our small business community, and in particular, I've always pointed people to how dynamic first-generation Americans are in terms of entrepreneurship. As I commented to you in our meeting, in some of the key areas like where I live in South Florida and Miami, the people know it as Calle Ocho, it's 8th Street. It's kind of a traditional area where the Cuban exile community is congregated. Of course, there's a Walmart and all the other big chains, but literally 8 out of 10 of the storefronts and businesses are family-owned and operated businesses. And for me, and people always say it all the time, that truly is the backbone of our country, I mean, and of our business class. And they don't get the headlines. And a lot of these businesses face challenges. You could have the greatest product in the world, but and these things that we don't think about in terms of challenges to a small business, but one of the things that's happened when they decide to expand the road in that area and go into construction, it's great for the future. But for the next year and a half, customers just think it's a hassle to get in and out, and it's devastating for some of these small businesses. And I think not just the people focus on the loan programs and the other financial assistance that the SBA provides, but to be an advocate for the challenges of small business, whether it's regulations, taxes, or things of this nature. I believe small business in America needs advocates within the federal government who are constantly watchdogs for any public policy at any level of government that has a disproportionate impact on a smaller business. And so I hope that, I know you're going to be very busy getting around everywhere, but at some point, particularly when it's cold and snowing everywhere else, that I can encourage you to come, and we'll find the right place, whether it's in Central Florida. We've got small business success everywhere in our state, and we're excited to host you there, and would love to interact with you. And again, I thank you for your willingness to serve our country. I really am grateful for the opportunity that we've had to talk, and the nomination process isn't always a pleasant experience. So I'm glad that it sounds like this meeting has gone well, and I look forward to working with you when I anticipate you'll be confirmed here fairly soon. So thank you. Thank you for being here today.